Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to the AskGolfNut channel. Everyone loves a what's in the bag, and while my poorly knee heals, hopefully it will heal soon with all the 2025 lovely products and reviews we've got coming soon. I'll be doing them in the same way that I normally do with my heat map testing, etc. That will be for the irons and drivers. So what's in the bag? Now you can probably see and know the fact that I am a Mizuno fan personally of what I like to use. Doesn't in any way change the type of review that I do and the information that I give across. The information I give across when it comes to my reviews is driven by that thing down there, the quad. Quad doesn't care, quad hasn't got any bias. I have my own opinion of what I like to personally use, but in any way it doesn't affect what information I give out in the review. So let's go to the big dog straight away, the driver. We'll work back, because as you can see, possibly in there, I'm not quite sure if you can, they're not all Mizuno clubs in there. We'll have a look. So driver wise, what do we have? Now we have a change, because beforehand I was a low spin driver. I was always down the G route, the 200G, the STG and stuff like that, because obviously it gives me my best number profile. And I'll see if I can give you some information on the screen, the difference between what my current driver does, spin profile, distance wise, etc., and then what my old driver does. Now, with the old G, it's great when you got a day where you're on it, where your face to path is really good and your strike is really good. You can get some seriously long golf balls out there because it is a lower spin profile. This one, the ST Max, the ST230 Max, it is just the most consistent, most stable, most forgiving driver I have ever used. And on days when you're not on it, you're going to need something like this. So this is what I use. My strike, generally speaking, is pretty darn decent, but you do have off days, and of course you go into this on the off days because it just doesn't work if you're using the G. So I'll just put this one down there because I can imagine we are going to get a bit messy. So the next one is the 3-wood. Now normally I've got two 3-woods. You can see here I've got one and the black head cover. The 3-wood that I've got in my hand here is the ST Max. It is their 3-wood at 15 degrees, but I up the loft to as much as it goes, to 17 degrees, because this golf club here, I want it to go into a green with some chance of stopping. When I'm going into a long par 5 or something like that, as soon as I hit into the green, I want that ball to stop. Now, of course, I'm fairly lucky that I've got the swing speed to do that. No swinging today, poorly knee. Swinging this around about the 107 mark, I can get this one carrying into a green and it has a chance of stopping. But I have two 3-woods in my bag. Over here, as you can see, I have a black head cover. And what is this one? It is a Cobra Dark Speed X. Now this one is set at 15 degrees. This is my Bomber 3-wood. Now I have messed around in the past with having the G, the STG fairy wood, but it is very, shall we say, unforgiving. So when you don't hit the middle on a G, anything to do with the G, with the driver or the fairy wood, generally speaking, it can be a little bit interesting flight. This one here just gives me a little bit more stability, and it does give me the distance. Difference between this one and my Max in the air can be in around about sort of 15 to 20 yards dependent. This is a much different flight. It's a lower spin profile, but it is a much longer. If I'm going to chase it down the fairway, if I know I'm going to have shots where I can't risk driver because it's very narrow and I need some shots off of the tee, which is going to get some distance, I will go down this route because of the Max 3 was brilliant into a green. It's got great stopping power, but for this one, I just need a little bit more distance off a tee, and this is what this Dark Speed X 3-wood gives. We are now into the hybrids, and we have the 3 and the 4. I've got the 4 here, it's the ST Max. This one is at 22 degree head and I've set it to 24. I've got the 3 here at 19 as standard. The reason I get the 22 and up it to 24 is because it gaps much better and closer to the next, whatever I've got in my bag. We'll go with that one in a sec. The ST Max has taken over the CLKs. I had the CLKs in there for quite a while, but the ST Max is just a little bit more stable. As Mizuno have changed over the years, they've kind of got to a point of where they were trying to get the golf ball going off as fast as they could do off the face, but now they're coming much more down the way of forgiveness. They're just trying now to make it as consistent as they possibly can do. And of course, this one up at 24 degrees gives me the height. The 19 degrees absolutely will stop into a green, but it's borderline. This one definitely will. This carries around about the sort of like the 207 mark, where it takes my 5-iron, we'll go into a sec, that's around about the 190 yard carry. So there is a bit of a difference, but of course there will always be bigger gaps when you go to the business end, the big end of the bag. Where you go down to this end, you want much more controllable gaps. And we'll go to the irons now. So I'll just go grab the 7-iron. I have got 5-2 pitching wedge of the Mizuno Pro 241. Now I've got full reviews of all of these golf clubs on my channel, but the 241, the only gripe I have got about the 241 is purely the finish. It is gone of the chrome of, say, the MP5, the MP20, which I had for quite some time, and even the Pro 221. The 241 was the first golf club to come away from the chrome, which I was a little bit sad about. This is copper underlaid Mizuno 1025E forging. They just feel lovely, they look lovely, apart from the chrome or lack of chrome. It goes from 5 to pitching wedge. Now of course I don't use a 4-iron. Why? Because my 4-iron, it does go into a green fine, but it has to be hit as high as I possibly can do. If not, I'm not going to get to that magic 45-degree descent angle. Even as a pro golfer, guys, I'm still going by the same idea that I tell you guys about having a 45-degree descent angle where possible. I can go straight away to the 4 hybrid, 22 up to 24, and it just goes so high. Just as standard, it's a win-win. So that's why I don't have a 4-iron in the bag. So what are we talking now when it comes to wedges? Well, we'll have a little look. Now I've got 3 wedges in my bag. I've got 50, 54 and 58 because my pitching wedges are 46 degrees, and of course I want to try and keep gappings between the golf clubs as consistent as possible to keep the distances as consistent as possible. And I have in my hands, I have the T24 copper 58 degree. Now I've got 3 different finishes. I have the 50 in the satin, the 54 in the raw, and I've got the 58 in the gorgeous copper denim. Now, of course, going back in the day, they did make the MP20s, the special editions, in pure copper, which look lovely. As the time's gone on, they have kind of messed around with having the copper, but these do look exceptionally nice. Again, unfortunately no hitting today because of the poorly knee. So that's all of the wedges, the irons, the hybrids, the fairy woods, and also the driver as well. You can probably see 2 other things in my bag before we get into balls, etc. I have 2 putters. Up until recently, I have been using this one, and this one is the M-Craft Omoy. Is it number 4? Yeah, it is the 4. And it's a fairly heavy-headed. I like a heavy-headed putter. It means that I don't have to then use my force of my muscles to get the speed into the ball. I can just allow the pendulum action of the putter to work for me. Now this works really very well. I love this putter, I really do. The feeling of these are forged. Mizuno make forged putters, which again just feel really very nice. But recently, and it is because of doing a review of some other part of their range, that I got this, and it has absolutely completely taken me aback. It is the Vice VGP. Is it the VGP 02? Yeah, it is. It says it on the neck. This thing is gorgeous. It is just such a lovely looking putter. It looks slightly different obviously to that of the Omoy 4, but this thing from a point of aesthetics and beauty is just lovely. Now, there's a lot to be said when it comes to custom fitting for every single thing in the bag, not just putter, not just irons and driver. Every part of your bag is brilliant if it's custom fit, because it can really delve into what you require as a golfer, as a unique golfer. This thing just feels so stable. It's a heavy setup as well. It is quite a lump, which I quite like. Hasn't got any adjustable weights in the bottom, which is a little bit of a shame, because obviously the Omoy does come with 3 different weight sets that you can put in there. And generally speaking, what I'll do with the Omoy is I'll have the 3-gram ones in there when it comes to the summertime when the greens are faster, and then when it comes to the winter I'll swap out the 8s, which is the standard, for the 13s, which means I can keep my stroke basically exactly the same, but just transfer a little bit more energy into the golf ball when the greens are getting a little bit slower. When it comes to gloves, I use one of two. I use the Elite and the Tour. Now, why I use two is because, generally speaking, the Tour, why waste using Tour gloves in practice when you can use the Elite gloves? Now, the Elite are effectively leather anyway. It's just the Tour is just the uber Tour lovely feeling. But of course, there's no point in wasting Tour gloves when I'm just practicing. When you're practicing, you do wear the old glove out quite a bit more, and so I use the Elites. Now, guys, if you can't afford very expensive gloves, I absolutely get it. I've always sort of said, well, even when I was in retail years ago, buy a really nice playing glove for playing, and when you're practicing, buy something that's much more durable. There's no point in spending lots and lots of money on gloves when you're just going to burn through them when you're practicing. Get something which is going to feel okay, it's cheaper, and then go to the full on when you physically play. Shoes, right, okay, shoes wise, summertime I will rock around in something like these. These are Mizuno's Gore-Tex ones. I'll put them on the screen. I can't remember the exact model number. They are spikeless. They have got the old classic nodules on the bottom. With these things, if you wear them too much and they wear out, unfortunately you cannot change the soles of these. You have to change the shoes. And golf shoes aren't necessarily cheap. So if I am using these in the summertime, absolutely fine, no problem. But when it's the winter, these are the old now Mizuno Gen M's. Now these things are like RoboCop's boots. These things are mental. They've got plenty of stability, shall we say. It is a proper golf shoe. Waterproof, leather, it feels really nice. It feels very, very sturdy. And if you have a look at the underside of that thing, that is, well, I'm not quite sure. It's going to be nuclear, holocaust, cockroaches, and that sole will be surviving. Now, balls. At the current, I use the Mizuno RB Tour. They make the RB Tour and Tour X. They are also bringing out a new ball very soon, so it will be interesting to test the new ball to see how it differs to the RB Tour. I am considering, before the RB Tour dies, getting a boatload more of them, because generally speaking, for all the golf clubs that I've tested, which is near on 50 irons or so now on the database, which is available on my website www.askgolfnut.com, where you have all the heat maps of all the irons and all the forgiveness data and all the advanced data of like launch factors, spin rates, all the different things that you have, or what we measure when it comes to the reviews. Make sure you get subscribed and join so you can see all the information on the website. But when it comes to the ball, the only problem is if the new ball is considerably different to that of the old, all my data, which I'm comparing, all the spin rates, etc., are with the old ball. So if there is a massive difference between the new ball and old ball, I'll have to obviously change things or re-hit data with the new ball with the old golf clubs, so I can keep everything apples to apples testing. If not, it's not fair, it's not right. Hopefully, I'm fingers crossed, and it's just like a durability change, etc. But we'll find out later on when that is released. Hope you liked the video, guys. If you did, go on, hit that like button down there, hit the thumbs up. YouTube like, so do I. Down there also is a subscribe button. It's free. It is great for the channel if you could subscribe, so thank you. And next to that one is a bell icon. That's a notification bell. If you click that one, that will let you know next time I upload another video. Hope you're well. We'll see you again soon.